Did you, does your shirt say Berkeley?
Yeah,
Did you go there?
no.
Oh.
How many inmates got out?
A lot.
First of all, congratulations on the show. I think it's great as a fan of crime shows. I think it's amazing. And the first thing I would like to know is how did you how did you build a story that feels fresh and new into a genre that is so full of shows and movies?
Yeah, sure. Great question. I mean, that's obviously it's a space that's very crowded. And, we from day one, we were sort of like, we don't want to be Criminal Minds because Criminal Minds already
Mm,
does what they do very well. We didn't
yeah.
want Mindhunter that does what it does very well as well. And Law and Order exists and does what it does very well as well. So we were like, how can we do sort of these types of stories that we enjoy, but sort of take them a little bit left of center so that we can stand out and tell some stories that you're not seeing on those shows so that
Hmm.
sort of the same audience can enjoy the same sort of exciting ride and putting the puzzle together, but get fed a little bit different of a meal. And so it was definitely an intentional look from our part at the start.
Right, then it feels completely different. I think that the focus on the characters and well, the whole perspective of having the killers out there, but already kind of know them, which is what feels different. And I like the build up of the show because you have the big case, which is trying to find out what happened and how these people got out, but also the case by case. So how did you build the structure and how did you find the balance to work on those storylines.
Well, I think it's something we continue to refine. We knew from the beginning that we wanted what's called a case of the week,
Hmm.
a case that begins and ends in one episode. But at the same
Hmm.
time, we wanted the overarching mystery that is sort of the mythology of the show. And I think in the first season we sort of kept calibrating by turning up more mythology and turning it down to try to figure out what is that kind of like perfect balance. It's a little bit like a recipe when you're cooking.
Yeah,
You're kind of figuring it out as you go. You keep trying. And I think the first episode of the season in season one and the last episode of the season have a lot of serialized storytelling
mm,
mythology. And then the ones in between, they kind of vary, but not as much as the first and the last.
definitely, definitely. And another thing that I love is that of course these shows rely so much on the characters, and you had on one side the main characters, the FBI agents and everyone working on the cases, but you have the serial killers. And how did you build these serial killers to make them all be different from each other, but they all have to kind of fit in the whole story you want to tell?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's sort of one of the big challenges of any procedural or case of the week,
Yeah.
which you got to live within your world. Every case has to sort of stand on its own and be unique and be interesting and be fresh. So obviously, I mean, we have a very talented group of writers on our staff, and everybody came to the table with a lot of really great ideas. And so I mean, I can't tell you how many we didn't use, but we had a lot we didn't use because everybody came to the table with a lot.
Oh, we can see them in the future for sure.
Yeah, we pocket them for future episodes. Um, but it was really sort of like a matter of wanting to do something different, and like I said before, sort of doing something left of center. And the nature of our show that you sort of pointed out before is who the killer is out of the gate. So it's sort of a less of a who done it and more of a why done it and why has it changed. And when we sort of view it through that perspective, well, the why done it needs to be very interesting then because it's not you're not figuring out the who, you're just figuring out why they're doing what they did before and what has changed. And that's sort of the map of our show is, you've got a previous MO, they go into the pit, something happened down there, we'll figure out what that is, and they come out of the pit with sort of a slightly altered MO, and we've got to solve that now.
And well, as I was saying, you have from one side the serial killers, and the other side this human group that you relate to. And I think that when you start watching a crime show, you come in to see the crimes, but you stay because of that human group, and that's what happens here. So how is it to build the storylines behind these characters, and also to mix all that with the story that you want to tell, the biggest story?
I mean, it's a challenge, you know, it's a creative challenge that we face every episode of trying to like tell the best stories we can and pushing ourselves creatively. I think there's always, you know, we have budgets, so we have a certain
Yeah.
amount of money that we can spend, and so we're always trying to like uh like maximize the amount of story and the amount of spectacle we can put into any episode. But it, you know, it's a little bit like if you have a budget for a party, like a birthday party or a wedding or something, like you kind of have to do the best you can with what you got. So we often trying to push ourselves to sort of the limit creatively, to do the most that we can, and at the same time be responsible fiscally with the money.
You know, and one thing I'll add to that is, you know, as you say, people come for the mystery and stuff, but they stay for the characters. And finding those downbeat moments where our characters can kind of come together as this found family, those are some really satisfying scenes creatively for us. But I will say that our actors made it a lot easier. They are, first of all, incredible people, very, very talented actors, but they jive so well together that, you know, we can write a very simple scene that happens very quickly, that it's, you know, it's just a couplet of these two characters saying something very quickly to show their bond or whatever, and they nail it. And they're so fun to watch in those moments that they really bring their humanity and their connection to those moments that I think we're able to do a lot with a little. To Jake's point, we don't have a lot of time to spend in those downbeat moments, but we can do a lot with a little with the talented actors that we have.
And they all really, our core three, the trio of the hunting party,
Yeah,
they love each other. Like they hang out all the time together.
it shows.
We finish filming at midnight, and the three of them are like, we're gonna go get burgers. And JJ and I are like, we're gonna go home and go to bed. Really, they're very, very good friends, and that quality, I think, seeps into the characters in a nice way, because
Definitely.
it makes it pretty effortless for them to have these kind of fun, bantery moments where you feel like they've really connected, because they have.
It definitely shows. And something that I really like about the hunting party, and it kind of feels like you have the perfect mix between old school crime shows, like you were saying before, Law and Order, and also that kind of cinematographic look that you find in series like Mindhunter, as you were saying. So for you two that have been working on television for a long time, how did you handle this whole process that we're living, from leaving behind maybe the old TV method and working into streaming, and finding a good mix between those two things?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And I will say, you know, obviously there's sort of a format and a structure to a procedural, and you want the close end case, and that makes it feel sort of familiar. But to your point,
Mhm.
has gotten really exciting with the visuals. It feels more almost cinematic, and it feels more like film in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And, you know, our director for episode 1 and 10, and then also became our producing director, Tor Freudenthal,
Mhm.
brought an incredible cinematic language to the show. And he was somebody that Jake had worked with previously
On a show, on Arrow.
and so Jake reached out to him actually very early in
Yeah.
the process. So Tor got involved really early, and you know, we have him to thank for a lot of that. You know, we sort of gave him references. You know, we talked about Seven a lot. We talked about a lot of other films that we love, and he took those sort of visual languages and put them into the show in a really cool cinematic way that I think captures what you're describing.
Yeah, he really. We do the words,
Yeah,
but the visual style of the show is really a credit to Tor.
And you know, we don't want to give away to the audience what really happens and the reasons why that happens in the show. They're gonna find out when they watch the first episode and when they start watching the show. But I would like to know if the motivation, the reasons of how these serial killers are out there, was there in the beginning. You change it uh, when you start working on the script, how that idea came up, and well, that twist at the end, which is great.
Well, you know, the sort of larger story of what's going on with these serial killers in the pit, and it's something that we want to sort of taffy out over a long time. And you know, I will say without any spoilers that at the end of season 1 there will be sort of answers to a big piece of it, but it won't be the whole thing. And you know, we have a writer on our staff who came in season 1 who had this incredible idea that sort of became the end goal for the story.
Mhm.
And so we're building towards that, but along the way we talk about the pit and the facility being sort of like an octopus. There's a lot of arms
Mm.
that are connected to this, and you know, season 1 we're dealing with one of those arms that will provide a big piece of the picture,
Yeah.
but won't answer the whole thing.
And we're talking about in the pit, it's a facility that has existed for decades.
Yeah.
So the things that have been done down there's so many different scandals all in one, if that makes sense. Like
Mm.
it's not
Yeah.
there's not one scandal.
Yeah.
It's
Not as simple as it seems.
Yes.
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 It's a real Pandora's box of problems that gets opened.
Okay, guys, thank you so much for taking this time talking to me. Once again, congratulations
Can
on
I
the
ask you a
show.
question? Will you
Yeah,
tell
sure.
Universal Plus, is that I realize I don't know a lot about how it airs. Is it like a cable, is it a streaming
It's
channel?
like it's like Peacock. It
It's
would be
like
like Peacock. Yeah.
okay, so is it like as an app or like as a channel?
Did you have like it's like a mix.
Okay,
Nice.
cool.
Like a mix of both things. Yeah. But yeah, it works a little bit like Peacock, yeah.
Well, hopefully I can take a trip to South America sometime and check it out for myself.
We can wait to have you guys here, so that would be awesome.
Amazing.
That would
Thank
be
you.
awesome.
Great to
Thank
be
you guys.